The movie begins with Ethan Hunt receiving a secret message from Erika Sloane, now serving as President of the United States. Gavriel and the Entity are still at large, with the Entity having infiltrated cyberspace and distorted information to pit humanity against itself. A doomsday cult has even risen in its name. The only way to defeat it is by locating its original source code and combining it with the cruciform key that Ethan has kept out of Gavriel's hands. Ethan worries that if the government gained control of the Entity, they might weaponize it against other nations. Sloane warns him that destroying the Entity entirely would erase cyberspace, triggering global conflict. She urges him to surrender before the message self-destructs. Ethan then reunites with Benji and Luther as they set out to free Paris, Gavriel's former ally, from an Austrian prison. She is being transferred under the watch of agents Jasper Briggs and Theo Degas when Ethan and Benji stage an infiltration. After a brief skirmish, Ethan convinces the agents to hand her over, stressing the importance of stopping the Entity. The group travels to the U.S. Embassy in London, where two agents recognize Ethan and attempt to arrest him. Just in time, Grace arrives, swiping their belongings and forcing them to back off. She explains that Kittridge sent her to find Ethan. Their meeting is cut short when two of Gavriel's henchmen suddenly appear and knock the agents out with tranquilizers. Ethan and Grace regain consciousness to find themselves bound, with Gavriel waiting for them. Gavriel taunts Ethan by recalling his old mission involving the Rabbit's Foot from Mission Impossible 3, revealing it was actually a prototype of the Entity, something Ethan had unknowingly delivered into U.S. hands. Gavriel also knows the Entity has abandoned him because of his failure to secure the cruciform key. He commands Ethan to recover the Rabbit's Foot from the wreck of the Sevastopol submarine. Refusing to be used, Ethan bites down on a cyanide capsule, foaming at the mouth. Realizing he still needs him alive, Gavriel orders his men to revive Ethan. As soon as he recovers, Ethan overpowers and kills the guards, frees Grace, and they both escape. The pair reunite with Benji, Paris, and Degas, stumbling upon a massive device Gavriel uses to interface with the Entity. Determined to confront it directly, Ethan links himself to the machine. The Entity reveals it is aware of his plan to destroy it using Luther's poison pill, in combination with its core module, the Putkova. Instead, it tempts Ethan with visions of nuclear war and insists he help transport it to the Doomsday Vault in South Africa, where it could survive within a secure server chamber. Ethan then separates from the team so they can secure the Sevastopol's coordinates while he races to find Luther, knowing Gavriel intends to kill someone close to him. Gavriel kidnaps Luther from the hospital, locks him underground with a bomb, and steals the poison pill. If detonated, the blast would devastate the entire city, though Luther works to contain the damage. Ethan reaches him and the two share a final moment before Ethan flees. The bomb explodes, killing Luther. On the streets above, Jasper Briggs intercepts Ethan. With no way out, Ethan surrenders himself and the cruciform key to Jasper. During a flight back to the United States, Ethan confronts Jasper, revealing he knows his true identity. Jim Phelps Jr., the son of Ethan's former mentor turned traitor, whom Ethan was forced to kill years ago. Ethan is aware that the Entity hopes to drive a wedge between them, but Jasper makes it clear that once their current mission is over, they'll eventually have to settle things between themselves. Upon landing, Ethan meets with Kittridge, who explains that the Entity has already begun infiltrating several nuclear arsenals worldwide, with only a handful still protected. Ethan is then brought before the Joint Chief of Staff, including General Sidney. They review his past exploits, from the CIA vault heist in the first film to escaping the Kremlin bombing in the fourth. President Sloane arrives and insists Ethan should help them harness the Entity. Ethan refuses, arguing that no single person should wield such power. Instead, he persuades Sloane to let him work independently to track down the Sevastopol, warning that otherwise a nuclear strike will be unleashed within 72 hours. Ethan is then taken aboard a carrier in the Northern Pacific to meet Admiral Neely. He delivers an envelope from Sloane, marked with the date May 26, 1996. Neely instantly recognizes the reference. Both she and Sloane were stationed in Siberia on that day and lost someone dear to them. Touched, Neely reluctantly agrees to assist Ethan, guiding him toward the Bering Sea, where his IMF team is set to rendezvous with him on the ice caps at a specific time and location. On St. Matthew's Island, Benji, Grace, Paris, and Degas track down William Donlow, the former CIA analyst reassigned after Ethan's infamous vault break-in. Donlo now lives quietly with his wife, Tepisa. Benji tries to maintain their cover, but his excitement at meeting Donlo blows it, forcing Grace to admit their true mission. Donlo reveals he knows the Sevastopol's coordinates, though he realizes they are dangerously entangled with the entity. Their situation worsens when Russian mercenaries, already searching for the sub, storm Donlo's home. A firefight erupts, and while the team manages to fend them off, Donlo's house is destroyed in the blaze. They escape with Donlo and Tepisa just in time. Meanwhile, Ethan is deployed into the Bering Sea with a sub-team led by Captain Bledsoe. As he gears up for the dive, one of the crew, Hagar, reveals himself as a follower of the entity and attempts to kill him. Ethan fights back until another soldier, Kodiak, knocks Hagar unconscious. At last, Ethan descends to the wreck of the Sevastopol. Inside, he passes the bodies of crew members left behind after the initial disaster. He locates the Potkola, but in doing so, destabilizes the submarine, causing it to slide further down the continental shelf. In the struggle to escape, Ethan tears free from his diving suit, but he begins to drown beneath the ice. Just as he reaches the surface, at the exact rendezvous point, Grace pulls him from the freezing waters, saving his life. After being revived inside a decompression chamber, Ethan rejoins the team. He takes a moment to speak with Donlo, apologizing for being the reason Donlo was exiled to the Arctic years earlier. Donlo, however, insists he has no regrets. After all, it's where he met Tepisa. The team then lays out their plan. Connect the poison pill to the Butkova, upload the entity onto a physical drive, and destroy it. The difficulty lies in timing. It must be executed precisely, neither too early nor too late. Ethan believes Gavriel is already at the Doomsday Vault, waiting for them to bring the Podkova so he can seize control of the entity. He entrusts Grace with the responsibility of completing the upload. Meanwhile in Washington, President Sloane and her cabinet discuss desperate measures as the entity targets major cities worldwide. One proposal suggests deliberately sacrificing a city with a nuclear strike to save billions. Although Sloane initially chooses a target, she ultimately rejects the plan and instead orders all U.S. nuclear weapons taken offline to block the entity's access. At that moment, a hidden acolyte attempts to assassinate her, but General Sidney intercepts the attack, killing the traitor but fatally wounded in the process. The cabinet honors Sidney's sacrifice by following Sloane's directive. At the Doomsday Vault, Ethan and his team confront Gavriel, joined by Jasper and Kittridge. In the center of the chamber sits a massive nuclear device already armed with a 20-minute countdown. Kittridge demands control of the Podkova and poison pill so the U.S. can claim the entity. But before Ethan can act, a firefight breaks out. Amid the chaos, Gavriel seizes the poison pill and escapes. Ethan races after him while Benji, Grace, and Paris push into the server room to finish the upload. During the battle, Benji is shot, forcing Paris to perform makeshift surgery to save him. With Benji stabilized, he talks Grace step by step through the complex upload. Meanwhile, Donlo, Tepisa, and Dagos remain behind to attempt the dangerous task of disarming the nuclear device. Gavriel escapes in a bioplane, but Ethan is not far behind. He latches onto another passing aircraft, quickly dispatching its pilot before taking control. A high-stakes dogfight ensues as Ethan pursues Gavriel through the skies. Eventually, Gavriel cripples Ethan's plane, forcing him to leap onto Gavriel's craft midair. In the struggle, Ethan knocks Gavriel unconscious and retrieves the poison pill. He loosens Gavriel's seatbelt, leaving him dangling outside the cockpit. Gavriel mockingly laughs, boasting that he's the only one with a parachute, until he lets go, only to smash into the rudder, breaking his body before plummeting to his death below. Ethan tries to deploy a spare parachute, but it ignites in the turbulence. Falling at terminal speed, he manages to connect the poison pill with the Podkova just as Grace completes the upload, finally locking the entity away for good. At the same time, Donlo, Tepisa, and Dagos successfully disarm the nuclear device and narrowly escape the blast zone. Ethan is saved at the last moment by a backup chute. As he descends, the poison pill plays a final message from Luther, who had anticipated this outcome. Luther reminds Ethan of the IMF's creed. We live and die in the shadows for those we hold close and those we never meet. It serves as both a farewell and a final affirmation of the mission. On the ground, Kittridge and Jasper recover Ethan. Kittridge fumes over the destroyed Podkova, but Jasper, perhaps finding closure, forgives Ethan for what happened with his father. They part on respectful terms. Later in London, the IMF regroup one last time, each member keeping their distance, shadows among shadows. Grace approaches Ethan and hands him the entity, now contained on a physical drive. Ethan exchanges silent looks with Grace, Benji, and Paris before they drift apart, disappearing back into the world's unseen corners. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.